The Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra is finally here, it's in the house. Let's get it unboxed, take a closer look at its new privacy display feature, and also compare it to the S25 Ultra. Now, the unboxing is pretty straightforward. We've got a slightly updated design on the box. This is the silhouette, but kind of focused in on that camera island. And inside, we get the device. There is a pack at the top of the box. And within that, there is a SIM card tool, as well as a USB Type-C cable and some paperwork. And here it is. I've got it in this cobalt violet color, which I do really like. It's got a two-tone finish, but it's also available in a sky blue, a black, as well as white. Now, these colors are unified across all of the Galaxy S26 devices. So you've got them on the S26 as well as the S26 Plus. But as always, there are two online exclusive colors, a pink gold, as well as a silver shadow. Now, if you're interested in picking up the S26 Ultra and you want to get the best deals, then check out my affiliate links down in the description below. For a limited time in the UK, you will be getting double the storage as well as 5% off using my code. And in the US, using my link, you can get up to $900 in trade-in credit or up to $150 in instant Samsung credit to spend on accessories if you don't want to trade in. Now, to really see the difference, we need to bring in the S25 Ultra. The first thing you'll notice is that the edges are more rounded. And this once again goes with that unified look that Samsung have across the S26 series. And although the cameras are in the same place and we still have those triple rings, they are now housed within this ambience island. Now, this is similar to what we saw on the Z Fold 7, and you could say that this is a bit of an incremental update, but nevertheless, I do like it. The S26 Ultra is also slightly slimmer and slightly lighter compared to the S25 Ultra. So it's around 0.3 millimeters thinner and around 4 grams lighter, although it is slightly larger in terms of the height and the width, but nothing that's really noticeable. Now, one of the reasons why it's a little bit lighter is because we no longer have titanium. So we've got a titanium frame on the S25 Ultra, we've got an aluminum frame on the S26 Ultra. Now, how much of a big deal is that going to be to you? I think most people use a case on their devices anyway. Apple went from titanium to aluminum for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and it looks like Samsung's following along. Now, the S Pen is still here. It's a little bit more curved on the tip, and that's to fit the rounded corners, but it works exactly the same as the S25 Ultra, meaning there is no Bluetooth. Now, I know some people were hoping this would be coming back, but I didn't think it would be, and it's not here. If you want Bluetooth on your S Pen, then you're gonna have to stick with the S24 Ultra. And to answer the question, what happens if you put the S Pen the other way around because of that curve? Well, let's try. I mean, it still goes in, it just kind of sticks out a little bit on the side. Now let's talk about the display, because this might just be the biggest selling point for the S26 Ultra, and it might actually make it the best display on any smartphone right now. So it's still 6.9 inches, we've got dynamic AMOLED 2X technology, Quad HD Plus resolution, a max peak brightness of 2600 nits, and now it's 10 bits up from 8 bits, which means you get many more colors compared to the S25 Ultra. It still has Gorilla Armor 2, making it anti-reflective, but it now has a brand new feature called Privacy Display, and this is the world's first privacy display on mobile. Now, we need to really take a detailed look at this. So generally, the display will work as normal, so you can still see it from different viewing angles. But then if you swipe down and you switch on this privacy display setting, look what happens. How cool is that? Now, this works left, right, as well as up and down. And we've seen this on privacy screen protectors before, but they were screen protectors that you had to put on and permanently have on your device. With this privacy display feature, you can switch it on and off as you please. Not only that, because it works on a pixel level by switching off the wider pixels and keeping the narrow pixels on, this means that you can actually customize it per app as well. Now, you may not even need this for your day-to-day, but maybe for your banking apps, for instance, or your photo gallery if you've got some secret photos in there. And in addition to that, you can turn on privacy display only when you are entering a PIN or a pattern or password. And I think my favorite thing on here is that you can apply this just to notification pop-ups. So if you get a message while you're on your phone, that pop-up is only going to be visible clearly to you. If somebody's on your side, it's going to be dim or completely blacked out. Now, I think this feature is an absolute game changer, and I love the way it works so far in terms of my first impressions. The one thing that I will say, and I said in my hands-on, is that the brightness does dip slightly when you switch this on. And I think that's understandable because the wider pixels are being switched off. So just something to keep in mind. I personally would probably keep this on just for particular apps. So for my day-to-day, everything will look as normal. But if there are certain apps, such as banking apps or something, which I don't want anyone else on my side to see, then this will be ideal for that. And I also like that you can very quickly switch this on and off in your quick settings. Now let's talk about the cameras. But before we do, let me just say, yes, I am working on a SuperSaf style camera comparison of this versus the iPhone 17 Pro Max. If you want to see that first, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. That's going to be coming very, very soon. It's around 11 p.m. right now, and I'm going to be going out soon after I've shot this video to take some low light shots. So don't worry, I'm on it. To give you an overview of the hardware, we've got a 12 megapixel selfie camera. Now, this seems like it's got similar hardware, but it's got an enhanced AI ISP with an object-aware engine, and this should give you better selfies. And for the rear-facing cameras, we have the usual quad rear-facing camera setup, a 50 megapixel ultra-wide, which seems to have similar hardware compared to last year, a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera, once again, similar hardware, although I believe it is a new sensor. But we have wider apertures for the primary camera as well as the 5x telephoto zoom camera. So a 200 megapixel primary camera with now an f1.4 aperture, which is wider compared to the f1.7 aperture that we had on the S25 Ultra. It will also be quite interesting to see what impact, if any, having such a wide aperture will have on your images. Will things be too blurred? Will it be difficult to get things pin sharp in focus? We'll test that out. Samsung say this should give you 47% more light. And for the 50 megapixel 5x optical zoom telephoto camera, the aperture is now f2.9 from 3.4, which we had on the S25 Ultra. This is supposed to give you around 37% brighter images. What's also interesting, I've noticed, you don't see much of a square on here anymore. I don't know if it's hidden under something, but that's interesting because we have periscope zoom technology. Not sure. And we also have new lenses to reduce lens flare. I'm also interested to test this out against the iPhone 17 Pro Max because the iPhone is well known to have those light bubbles if you are filming in low light. So let's see. We've also got some improvements for video. We've got super steady video with a horizontal lock, which seemed very impressive in my testing. And we have a new APV video format, which is lossless even after multiple edits. What I did notice in this is that it has 5-minute chunks. Once again, all of these things will be tested thoroughly in the SuperSaf style camera comparison, so stay tuned. Now for the performance. So the S26 Ultra is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. For Galaxy means that it is slightly overclocked with some optimizations. And although the S26 and the S26 Plus will have the Exynos 2600 in certain regions, like here in the UK, the S26 Ultra has the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy across the board internationally. I expect performance to be top-notch, some of the best out there. We've also got an expanded vapor chamber with thermal interface material, and this dissipates over 21% more heat. We've got 12 gigabytes of RAM as a base for the 256 as well as the 512 gigabyte versions. But if you do go for the 1 terabyte storage version, you will get 16 gigabytes of RAM. Not sure how much of an impact this will have on your day-to-day, but hey, nice. Now for the software. So this does come with Android 16 with One UI 8.5 out of the box. And as always, Samsung has promised 7 generations of software and security updates, which is amazing. And then of course we have Galaxy AI. Now there are so many Galaxy AI features. I'm going to talk you through a few of these. But what I noticed in my last year video of the S25 Ultra unboxing, I was going through all of these and I didn't end up using half of them. So I will cover the ones I do end up using in detail in my full review, which is going to come in about a month or two after I've really used this long term with my SIM card in. We've got all of the usuals like call assist. However, now we also have call screening, which we've seen on Google and Apple before. Photo assist, which I love and is one of the best AI editors on any smartphone has now been improved further because you can actually give it prompts and you can also combine images, and from the results that I've seen, looks very impressive. We've got Creative Studio, which will allow you to make custom invites and things. Honestly, I really don't see myself using this, but you might. There's now Nudge to get suggested actions based on what's on your screen. So for instance, if somebody messages you and says, "Are you free on Friday evening?" it will be able to see your calendar and see if you are actually free or not and give you that suggestion. Notification highlights, which we've seen on Apple before. I actually like notification highlights on my iPhone, so it'll be interesting to see how this compares. Audio eraser has been improved further. Not only can you use it on videos that you've recorded, but you can also use it within apps. So if you're watching a YouTube video with some loud background music or crowd noise, you're gonna be able to cut down that background noise. And one thing that I'm really interested to test out is the integration of Perplexity. So this is supposed to give you a much more integrated AI platform alongside Gemini, which you can still use. But yeah, there are a lot of new AI features. Once again, I will be looking at these in detail and giving you my opinions in my full review. Now for the battery. So we have the same size battery that we had on the S25 Ultra, that we also had on the S24 Ultra, and it goes back quite a few years, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. I was really hoping for a larger battery because lots of the competition are offering 7,000 plus with silicon carbon technology, but we have 5,000 milliamps. Now, I do expect the battery life to be better compared to the S25 Ultra because we have that new, more efficient chipset, but it's not going to be as good as some of the competition. We've also got improved charging, 60 watts of super fast charging, which will give you around 75% in 30 minutes. You will need a 60-watt charger to achieve those speeds. And we've also got faster wireless charging, 25 watts of wireless charging, up from 15. And Qi 2.2 is supported, but only with a case. So unfortunately, magnets are not built in to the S26 Ultra. Can you see? Doesn't snap on. So that means you will need a case if you want to take advantage of Qi 2.2 charging. Now for pricing. So good news for my American friends. The base model, 256 gigabytes, is the same price as the S25 Ultra, so $1,300. An $80 increase for the 512 gigabyte version, which starts at $1,500, and a $140 increase for the 1 terabyte version, which starts at around $1,800. In the UK, we have a price increase across the board, £1,280 for the 256 model. So that's around £30 more compared to the S25 Ultra. £1,450 for the 512 gigabyte model, which is around £100 extra compared to the S25 Ultra. And for the 1 terabyte version, you are looking at around £1,700, which is around £150 more compared to last year. Now, having said that, remember, if you use my affiliate links down in the description below, you can take advantage of some pre-order offers. In the UK, you can get double the storage, so the 512 gigabyte version for the price of the 256, as well as 5% off using my special code that's down in the description. In the US, although you're not getting double the storage, you are getting up to $900 in trade-in credit. So if you have the S25 Ultra, you trade that in, this is just gonna be $400. But if you don't have anything to trade in, then you can still get $150 of instant Samsung credit using my affiliate link. And that can be used towards maybe your Galaxy Buds 4 Pro or some other accessories. So that is the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra with its super cool brand new privacy display feature. What do you guys think of it? Definitely let me know in the comments below. And also let me know what other coverage you'd like me to do with the S26 Ultra. Of course, we're going to be working on lots of SuperSaf style comparisons of the S26 Ultra versus the S25 Ultra, the iPhone 17 Pro Max. If you don't want to miss any of that coverage, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. Maybe you're not interested in the S26 Ultra. Maybe you're interested in the S26 and the S26 Plus. Well, I have covered those here. And if you want to see my long-term review of the S25 Ultra, I've done a 1 year later review, which you can see here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.